Now more and more carbon rims these days are coming tubeless, which means if you take your tyre off, and even if you've got a tube in there, take them off and you'll see there's only one hole, and that's for your valve. All the way around, the rest is all filled in. There's no more spoke holes where you can get the spoke and the nipple up through the hole directly. So what happens when you break a spoke or you need to replace a spoke and the nipple as well at the same time, or the nipple goes in and gets lost inside? Well, that's not too bad. You can shake it and it'll come out through the valve hole. But how do you get the new nipple, the replacement nipple, back through the valve hole and back up to here to where you want it? Well, that's what I'm going to show you in this video. Two fairly easy methods of doing just that. Now the first method I'll demonstrate is with this yo-yo wheel here, which is from the yo-yo bike I've been riding for over a year and a half. And last winter water got in past the seals on this hub and rusted out on both sides and dried out the grease and rusted out the bearings. And I kept riding it for a while and the bearings are now all crunchy and horrible, so they really need to be replaced. So here's a professional bearing puller. Now it's got a little lip here and it relies on grabbing on the inside of the race behind it, and then you just pull it out. You expand this piece and it pulls it out. Now I can't get this tool in there to grab because there's a sleeve that runs between both bearings on the inner races, so the tool can't grip. So what we say in Australia here, the hub is buggered. So what we're going to do is replace the hub. So here's a brand new hub that's just come here, and we're going to unspoke this and respoke that in. So it's a very similar sort of scenario in that if we destroy one of the nipples or we lose one inside the rim, how do we get it back inside the valve hole? Here's method one. These are aluminium nipples, and while I was undoing it, they were so tight to start with, I destroyed 3 of the nipples, like cracked them off. So I had to take them out. Now the way I did it is to get a really fine piece of wire. This is, I don't know if you can see it, really fine piece of bendy sort of wire. Now I got mine from this piece of wire. It's thicker and it's braided, it's got multiple strands, and you just unwind them and then you get a smaller piece. Anyway, you're bound to find a piece of wire somewhere around the place. Copper wire, you could probably use thin copper wire even. And you go through the spoke hole and you push it through, and then you come out through the valve hole there. So when the wire comes out through the valve hole, now to get it out I used a dental pick with a hook on, and when I could see the wire, just pulled it through and pulled the wire out. So when the wire came out, then I put a new nipple. Now I haven't got black nipples like this one, I had to use the old brass one. So you put the nipple on like that on the ends of the wire and just bend the wire over a little bit. Just like that. Anyhow, and then you pull it back, pull the wire back through, and you'll wiggle it around a bit, the last bit, and it will pull through. And then once the nipple's through into its hole, then you tug on the wire rather hard and it'll just pull the wire out. So then you got your nipple through, and then you can put your spoke back in. This one there, that's a new one I put in, a silver colour one. So I can paint them black if I want to match up all the rest. And it's grabbed there. Right, so that's it. And you've got all these spokes hanging in loose like that. And that way when you put the new hub in, you can just do the reverse, undo each one. I know it's fiddly, it'll take a long time, but it's the only way I can think of doing it. Unless you can think of a different way, but it's annoying not having the holes drilled in the rim to get access to the nipples, but this is the way that I'm doing it. Slow, tedious, but have some patience and it will get done. So there it is, all the spokes in there like that, and I've taken the first one out and ready to put in the new hub. So all spoked up and loose, so we just need to go around, evenly tension the spokes and make sure it's nice and true. And here's the old hub, and of course we've got to attach the disc back on as well. So there's the disc, I'll put that on as well. So it's a through axle, so what I do is I use just put a bolt through the right side, and that then it'll fit onto the truing stand. Now if you've got blade spokes, which a lot of these carbon wheels have got now, the flat spokes, the blade's got to face that way so they cut through the wind instead of that way where they'll be pushing against the wind making it hard. So you need a little tool like this, and this you put it on, slide it on, make sure it's the right size, and it holds the blade so that it stays that way while you use your spoke key and tighten or loosen the nipple. So you also need one of these if you've got blade spokes. Now with these modern wheels, they've got less spoke count than the old wheels, and the spokes are under greater tension as well these days. So when you're turning your nipple, whether you're reassembling or disassembling a wheel, at the thread here at the nipple, when you turn your key, there's greater force required. So there's more likelihood of damaging the nipple head itself, especially if they're aluminium. So with your standard spoke key here, it has 3 sides. So when you turn it, it's putting the pressure on 3 sides of that nipple. Well, it's easily damaged with this sort of tool. So you'll need to get one of these. So if you're doing wheels like this, carbon wheels especially, you'll need one of these tools. It has 4 sides to it. So that when you put it on the nipple, it's going to turn that nipple on all 4 sides. So a lot less risk of damaging that nipple. Now, the other thing about these is they come in different sizes. So for instance, this one here, that's too loose, that's no good. This one here, that's definitely no good. But this one here, and I know this is the right size, takes a while to get on, it fits perfectly. So that's what you'll need to do. Get yourself the 4-sided ones, and they usually come in a set of different sizes as well, sometimes 3 or 4. So if you're building wheels like this, it's worthwhile get a set of these 4-sided spoke keys as well. All done, spokes are all evenly tensioned and nice and tight, and the wheel's nice and true. And of course, the last aspect is that the wheel is central. Wheel dishing tool. So that way you know that the rim's going to sit in the middle of your forks.
Should be 2 more. Oh, Dave.
So a different wheel, but same sort of scenario. Maybe you've broken a spoke. Anyway, whatever the problem is, you need to replace the nipple. And it's gone inside the rim, and you shake it around and it finally falls out through the valve hole. So you've got your old spoke nipple, but now you want to replace it with a new one. So you put it through the valve hole. Now how to get it back up to here? Well, the second method is to use a strong magnet. Now this one comes from a hard drive, which I smashed apart to have a look at. An old hard drive, of course, as you do to see what's inside. Anyhow, strong magnets were inside, which is nice. Or speaker magnet. Anyhow, any old magnet that's relatively strong. And then you can guide the nipple up to that hole with the magnet. Now, the way you do it is, first of all, don't use a nipple that's magnetic. So this nipple here, the old one, sticks to the magnet, and that's no good. You need one that's non-magnetic, like this one. It's made of brass, good old brass one, or an aluminium nipple. Brass ones are good because they're a lot stronger. So the reason is because you need to guide this nipple with the magnet so that it comes out head first. Now, if you use a nipple that's magnetic all over, it's difficult to guide it in any direction. But if you put a magnetic piece in the end, in the head of the nipple here, you can guide the head of it down through there, through the hole. So how do we make the head of the nipple, where the thread, where the spoke goes in, how do we make that magnetic in a non-magnetic nipple? Very easy. Search in your box of screws and find one that neatly fits into the thread of the nipple. Here's the screw I found. Make sure that the screw is magnetic, but the nipple is not. Now put the screw into the head of the nipple head and wind it in. It doesn't have to be very tight, but if you need to use a screwdriver, make sure it's firm in there. So now the head of the nipple will follow the magnet. Now we're using a normal rim here because I fixed the other wheel and I'm not taking it apart for the demo, so I just put the rim tape on just to make out that you can't get access to the nipple holes. So we'll put the nipple inside the valve hole here. Just put it in. That's the one with the little magnetic screw in, and you get the magnet, and you'll notice that you can move the nipple around. Now put the wheel on the side here so that you guide the magnet and the nipple along the side of the rim. So guide it along. Now we've got to come over to here. You'll hear the nipple moving inside the rim. And when you get approximately to the hole, very close, then you just manipulate the magnet so that the head comes through the hole. Now if you want to, you can look inside the hole. You might need a torch or something. There it is there. Right, put the magnet aside and tilt the wheel up so the nipple's up the top, so the gravity pulls it down. Then you just take out that little screw. See if it comes out with your fingers. There you go. Or you can use your screwdriver, whichever you need to do. Put that screw aside. It's a really small screw, save it, put it near the magnet. Then just attach your spoke, do it up, and you're right. There's a pothole, cold hole, one of the riders hit that, bang. His water bottle fell out, went on the road, and the car just ran over his water bottle. He lined it up, did he?
I reckon he did.
Any good? No. Because the driver lined it up and ran over it. So that's it, he's one bottle down. You said you're a New Zealander? Oh.